Self-care and well-being are words that people are using daily now as they navigate the continued stresses of our ever-changing climate with restrictions, illness, and obligations. Our separation from family and friends and the limited social engagements have changed our climate, changed the way we receive information. My guest today, Jenny Ryce, is a visionary. She's seen the potential for providing a way for people to find holistic approaches to wellness and proactive care for well-being. She's created a business that is here to support both the facilitators of programs and those that have been in search of the tips and tools that they can use for their well-being. It's a unique position and one that has been able to grow in an unprecedented time to meet the challenges of finding balance and flow in our lives. As we can tell by my stumbling over the words, for those of us who need a little balance and flow in our lives. This is Season 1, Episode 16, and you're listening to Be Well with Michelle Greenwell. Jenny, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. And for anybody that's listening, I appreciate you sharing your time and space with us.
It's just, today I've been gifted with some lovely, rich conversations. And one of the things that I love about this, which I hate to say profession, because really it's a way of being, but
Yes.
When we work in this profession and we spend every day thinking about energy and wellness and balance and flow, the most amazing gifts come our way. And today has been that kind of day. So it's lovely to be able to finish the day with a lovely conversation with you.
Oh, thank you. I feel blessed as well.
Now, typically we start the conversation with a cup of tea. Did you prepare something today?
I did. I have my cup of tea. For those that you can't hear or see, obviously I have my Tinkerbell cup that my twin bought me in 2007, and I have tea with it probably 5 days a week because it brings me joy and connects me to her. And I have a beautiful rooibos tea from Africa with fair trade changes. I made sure that it was safe, and it's super delicious. I've got some coconut milk in there and some beautiful local honey. So yeah, it's delish. Thanks for inviting me to bring it.
I noticed this week when I sent for meeting engagements this week, I said, make sure to make your cup of tea before we meet. And it was really interesting how that transformed some of our meetings where it would be, go, go, go. And this was like, oh, she invited me for tea today. It was a really interesting switch. So I made a cup of tea that is, this one is in my mug that comes from L'Arche, which is a group for mentally challenged individuals or physically challenged. And they're a group that I was able to work with to build my last book and also my card deck. And it was absolutely lovely to explore movement and wellness with them and see how they kind of embraced all the tools. And then inside I have a Portuguese tea, actually, which is broken leaf. And I didn't realize that the way that you process the leaves makes a difference on the flavor and what kinds of aromas also come out of it. So this is broken leaf rather than crushed. And so it just has like a mild flavor on it. I'm saying all that not because I'm trying to, spend so much time on tea, but just to think about how we approach things. And sometimes the perspective that we look at it or we take advantage of, even conversation, how we weave in different pieces. It's like tea. It's not all prepared the same way. And definitely with a mug too, right?
Well, and, this is the reason why I choose this mug is specifically because it transports me to a place and time, and it brings me joy when I drink out of it. And you can't see it, but it's this beautiful artistic rendition of Tinkerbell in a forest, and her wings are glittery, and again, it connects me to my twin sister, which is always a place that makes me feel safe and at home. So it's not always about what's in the cup, is it?
Nope, exactly. Oh, okay. So Jenny, you are the owner of Your Holistic Earth. Do you want to share what this company is doing?
Thank you so much for inviting me to share about Your Holistic Earth. It is a movement to inspire people to choose themselves, to step into their own wellness, whatever that means for them, and provide them the resources that they need literally at their fingertips. It's online based, so you can go in on your phone, you can access the website through your computer, and you will meet some incredible professionals in all areas of support for mind, body, and soul. And our mission is to help change the world and change how people live their daily lives. Somewhere along the way, we gave up our power when it came to our health, and we forgot that we get to choose that we can be healthy. We get to choose that we can use westernized medicine and allopathic medicine and these amazing resources in the holistic field for mind, body, and soul. And we can use all of these in synergy to be in power of our own bodies. And I think if we haven't seen that need, now's the time. If we can be proactive in our health, it's amazing what we can do. We can literally start healing the planet one human being at a time. So it's a community of education, awareness, support, and opportunity. And for most people, when they become a member, they tell me they feel like it's home. And that's really a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So you led right into that beautifully. You want to talk a bit about some of the ways that the relationships can be built within the community that you have?
absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so there's really neat ways. You can start just by being out on the outskirts. You can just come in as a member and tap into the resources that are there. You can connect to these providers by viewing videos that they've provided for you so that you can learn about different modalities and ideas, and search by symptoms and needs so that you can maybe test drive some of these ideas and solutions at home yourself. The other thing that we do is we provide meetings, community time space. We have a wonderful event that we host once a month that's called Wellness Wisdom. And we bring not only practitioners, but people that have their own healing stories, and they share about their story and they provide answers. That's what's really beautiful, is not only do they share how they move through an experience, you get an opportunity to ask questions if you're inclined or if you're inspired by their story. So those are just some of the ways that we provide an opportunity for people to connect. And of course, we have tons of events that our practitioners are hosting that you have access through the website as well. So you can dig in as deep as you want, or you can just use it as it serves you. But there's many different ways and levels to get involved. And of course, we also have a podcast as well. So there's some incredible resources out there to help support that wellness journey.
Wow, that's a depth. Because a lot of times people that somebody will mention something, but then they've got to go track down a person, and then you have to go have a session in order to be able to experience it. And you might be able to locate them, you might not. And in our restrictive times now, you might, have access to things you might not. But to be able to go in and hear stories and hear how, because usually there is this evolution that happens. And yes, that's the key piece, because sometimes people want to go in for that one fix. And it's like, well, usually there's more underlying pieces, and it's the journey that then starts. And to be able to just access a couple of tool pieces to say, this might be of interest is really lovely. And then where do you go and how do you dive in? So, yeah, beautiful.
really hope that we inspire curiosity for people, because you don't know what we don't know yet. And what's amazing, and many people don't know this, is I was a member before I became the owner. So I took the journey of wellness through this community and through being a part of this, to the point where I was inspired to step into to potentially take over the company. So I'm not saying that will be everybody's journey. But again, you just never know where that evolution is going to take you. And for me, it's led to my life's work, which has been absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm. So you have some programs that you're expanding in the coming months. You want to talk a little bit about what that vision looks like?
Oh my goodness. I am so passionate about, we are launching a website-based membership that's part of Your Holistic Earth. That's called the Wellness Warrior. And what's incredible about the Wellness Warrior is we've made sure that it's extremely accessible for people financially to be a part of. It actually is less expensive than a specialty coffee a day, and that's the cost for the whole month. So what happens is we're creating a space for people to come in every single day and get a dose of wellness. So we will have on the main dashboard this opportunity for people to step in and see different modalities right there at the fingertips. You don't have to search, you don't have to look. We're going to be highlighting different themes and different modalities, so that if you just want to learn about some different things to see if it fits, you don't have to dig too deep. And again, you will always have that resource. If you're looking specifically for symptoms, you can search that way. And we're really building that community around wellness. And what's beautiful about people that step into the actual paid portion of the Wellness Warrior membership, every single person that signs up and becomes a Wellness Warrior, we are gifting one to somebody who cannot afford that specialty coffee a month. So, we want to make sure that wellness is accessible to everyone. And we've partnered with some incredible organizations to really distribute those and get those memberships into the hands of people that need them. And we're really, we're so proud of our community, because by healing yourself and putting yourself first and your health first, you're giving the gift of wellness to somebody you don't even know, and you're touching them in ways that you don't even know, for less than $10 a month. So what's powerful about that, again, is just giving people accessibility to choose their path. And we want to inspire people to be curious about what that path looks like for them. We also have an incredible wellness event that is connected. It's going to be completely immersive. It sounds crazy. It's online, but it's going to be immersive. So we're going to invite you to dress comfortable. We're going to invite you to come with, with your blankets and your pillows and your tea and your water and journals, and step into, we're going to have these incredible practitioners that are going to share these different modalities in live and action. And you might be one of them. That's going to lead people through an experience of self-care through the day. So we can't wait to bring that forward in April. That's April 8th. I recommend you save the date, because it's going to be a really beautiful way of learning about self-care. Because many of us hear the word self-care, but we don't really know what that means or what that looks like. Mm-hmm. And it's just, sometimes we just need it really simply laid out for us. So there's going to be at least 6 or 7 different modalities that we're going to be featuring. And it will give people a plethora of ideas of what might fit for them, and just give them a taste of that experience. And it will be recorded. So if people do register and they can't come to the whole event, they will have access for a limited time to that recording. But so that they're not missing out. Or if you want to come and you can't because life gets in the way, you can find a different time that works for you to review that recording. So again, we just want people to be inspired to try something new. See what health looks like in a different way, because many of us have lived in this world, and I know you do incredible work as well. And it's part of what you stand to. We were really never inspired to understand that when we aren't at the hospital, that doesn't mean we're not well. where we're not having to go see a doctor. We might be suffering and we don't realize it yet. How many of us disconnect from our own body because we're in pain all the time? We don't listen to it. We don't find the cure or the ease, or we're just like, I'm in pain, and you just keep charging through. But because you're not having to see a doctor, or you're not having to be in a hospital, you're living in this weird grayness of unwell. And I'm just so inspired to tell people life doesn't have to be like that. We may not have all the answers, but if we can find some ease for people and put power back into their own hands to choose, I'm just, every single day I'm honored to be a part of that mission. And, I make it very clear, every type of modality out there, whether it's ancient, whether it's current, there's a place for it, because every single one of us is unique and individual. And I'm not here to tell you you shouldn't take an aspirin, and I'm not here to tell you you should. I'm just here to tell you have a choice, and to remember that proactive health is a really powerful tool, and it's in your own grasp. You just need to step in.
It's one of the
super passionate.
Oh, we couldn't tell that. It's true though, when we do this work, it's like that, because sometimes you see people who are suffering, and it's like, if you just made one change, just one, it would be so easy to not be where you are. But in our own personal experience, we're completely blind to that, because that's the way it's worked. It's always been that way. You've always felt that way, whatever. And it just is a norm for you. And to just have that one little change come around is just so profound.
To move people from survival to thrive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what I've found too with my Tai Chi training is that we've been trained as people, effort is important, and that you always should do your best, which requires effort. And when you go back to the Tai Chi principles, is less is more, and it should be with no effort. And that is so hard for people to realize. And when they figure out that the tension is released by one change of no effort, and then it's like, oh my gosh, I've spent years struggling in this position. I could have just changed my perspective. Like, so simple. It's always such a profound experience and lovely. And too, I'm sure you see that too, because as you see people come into your program and then watch as they evolve and pick things up and change, and then how their conversation moves to how they start to share with someone else and help them on their journey, that opportunity to see the whole process unfold for you. Yeah.
It is literally a gift. And what's so amazing, and you shared that, it's the community. It's every single person. And that's what's so powerful about people's stories and people's journeys. People have walked your path. It might not be your exact footprint, but many people have walked the same journey. And when we can connect people to each other that have walked those same journeys and support each other, it's so profound, because it just creates this energy that you literally, it's hard to explain, because it's this domino effect, right? It's like, when you put a room of like-minded people together, I mean, just think of the energy every time you and I talk, it's like there's fireworks happening, right? So it's like, it's just, it's those things that when we bring people together with like-minded journeys. Now, it's okay if you're not there yet, but you're trying to work there. It's incredible the magic that happens, because the person that's sharing the story about their own personal journey really solidifies and anchors in their own belief system towards what they've already accomplished by sharing it with somebody else. And that person takes that wisdom and critiques it to their lifestyle and their life. And before you know it, we have people walking in similar pathways, and they're creating a wider path to allow more people into that pathway. And, you know, I like to equate it to, many of us have watched the movie Forrest Gump when he's on his running journey. He's like, he starts this journey on his own for the running phase. And before you know it, these people start running with him. They're not sure why, they just do. And they're on their own journey, but he's leading the way. And anything in life, when you can be inspired by people that have walked the path that is leading you to your next greatest version of you, tap into that resource, because life is meant to be done together. We were not put on this earth to suffer in silence and be alone. And that's what Your Holistic Earth and the community is all about. And what I'm all about is just really being the champion of that message, because we have never felt so alone or divided in I don't know, and I know in my lifetime and in my history, I don't recall a time where people felt, we have so many people on the planet, but people feel alone. And I think that's why Your Holistic Earth is so important. It's like a beacon. It's a space for people to come to be together and share, reminisce, connect at whatever level they feel comfortable doing. And that's a vital part of vitality and healing, is being with others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I was thinking about even the title, because kind of for me, when I think of Your Holistic Earth, I hear your, and I hear holistic, and then earth is kind of on the end of that. But as you were just saying that, and I was thinking about how we think we could be alone when we do have the millions of people that we could access if we wanted, but then also to just stop and think about how much connection we have with the earth, and how much connection we have with the creatures on the earth or the plants. And then that whole piece, because Your Holistic Earth is really pulling all of that together, and it's a full package. And it's interesting because it's just where you're going to resonate with the words, but they really do encompass something that says, you know, we're part of a greater whole, and we all have a voice within the whole, which is really, really cool.
Oh, that moves me that you took that from our name. It you've captured it beautifully.
And it's funny too, because I wasn't really aware of that. You know, I just, as you were talking, was like, oh, and I could see the green grass, and I could see the bugs, and I could see the birds, and then the flowers, and it just kind of unfolded. It was like, wow, that's, you know, pretty lovely. And then to be able to connect through such an incredible community all month long, depending on how you want to connect. Just as you start to bring that picture up, it's like, yeah, I want to connect with that community every day, and remind me that I do belong, and I do have a space, I have a voice, and I have a story to tell, but I also have stories to hear. And when that collaborative piece can happen, you know, where we can go. Mm-hmm.
It's powerful when we can be united, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's well, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. It's literally a drop the mic moment. You know, you know, and what I love about the community is we're always looking at ways to make it more. If you know, what can we do to build more connection, more offerings, you know, more accessibility, all those kind of things. And we encourage our members to tell us what they need so we can meet those expectations. And, I'm a believer that even if we can't do it right now, we might be able to do it later. Every idea is a good idea. It's just a matter of when it can fit into the transitions of things. And we are the sum of the members of the community. We are very, very clear and humbled by the members of our community. And we don't take that lightly, and we listen and we ask for feedback and support. And we love, obviously, to hear when we're doing something great. We never will turn that down. But we're always wanting to make sure that we're providing what people need, because when we don't know, we go with the ideas of what we need, and we know there's more than just us and the people behind the scenes. And I need to give a shout out. This is not just the Jenny Ryce show. We have an incredible team that is so invested, and they show up unconditionally, and many are volunteers. Many volunteer their time to make this community great, and we couldn't do it without their passion and their desire to see change in the world, and for people to feel whole. And no pun on the holistic, but yes.
I just wanted to bring us back to the conversation about you're combining the professionals with the people who are looking for exposure to the different disciplines or experiences. And so that's an approach that doesn't happen very often, where you're trying to bring two sets of people together. And what I know from working with the Canadian Association of Bioenergetic Wellness, CanBeWell, sometimes it's like we've, as the organization of people who have the disciplines, we're like shouting out there, we're here, please someone pay attention. But what you've done is gone, we're here, but we're a community, and we're all in one place. And it's just lovely to know then that that weaving that can happen, because it does happen that way. Because even though someone might have studied in a discipline, it's the conversation with the person who has a challenge that comes in, and how that discipline is going to be important for them. And it's, for me, the experience is always, it's different. Every person is different, and the tool gets used in ways that you never imagined. So it's just such an enriching experience to not just be, here I am, and I know this discipline, and I can share it this way, or I can teach it to you, because it's an organic piece that just keeps going, I think. That's kind of been the experience anyway that I've had this last bit.
Well, and I love that, how, you've explained that, because what's really unique about what we've done, and I appreciate you highlighting that, is our wellness providers are also wellness seekers. Mm-hmm. Right? So yeah. It's very much this beautiful clockwork, those, the wheels turning together. The wellness seeker is connecting to that wellness provider. That wellness provider is seeking their own wellness. We all know it doesn't matter how incredibly skilled we are at the craft that we offer, we have areas that we need support in. It's just, I'm a trained executive coach, and I hire my own coach. You can't coach yourself. So, what's amazing with the platform is you get a chance to see these people through videos, through coming to the meetings, through reading their articles, finding them in the directory, and determining if you want to work with that person, so you can build trust without having to invest, if that makes sense, without having to step too deep in. And what's amazing about that is it just gives you a knowing before you step in. I'm a big believer. For myself, I love to be able to kind of research, I'm using air quotes, research, what I might be stepping into so that I feel prepared. And does that person connect with me? Do I feel an immediate energy? I know when we first met, Michelle, I was like, oh my gosh, this woman's my people.
Yep.
Right. And, unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. And it's okay, right? It's totally okay. But if we can build those bridges, and I love to say that that's what we are, is we're this beautiful bridge between all of these amazing people. And I'm very honored to be a bridge, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think for me, it's one of the proudest positions I could take in all that I'm doing, is being a bridge and, championing a community that is all about connection. And yeah, I love the way you describe that. Thank you for sharing it in that light. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my pleasure. I was thinking about too, when you were talking about, you may have studied in a certain discipline, but you still need the assistance as well. And I was thinking about what a lot of people don't realize if they haven't worked in the field is, as soon as two people engage for the potential of creating change in wellness, then there's a mutual benefit that happens, but there's also this opening that occurs. And it's a little bit different if you go to take a class in art, say, and you take your paints and you set everything up and you wait for the instructor to show you all of the tips and tools in there. You don't really have an exchange energetically. And I didn't really want to say it that way, but it is that, right? It's the same as when you and I met, that same energy that just came out of it. And then you have this exchange that happens between two people. And then it is amazing to see where that is going to take you and the energy that you finish with in the exchange. So being on your event, I was on the afternoon event where you get to gather and meet each other, and you hear from someone and what they do, but then you get to go in a breakout room and you get to meet 3 or 4 people, talk about what you do, and exchange phone numbers if that's going to work out for you have something that you have in common. And then there's just that feeling at the end when you're done, you're like, wow, that was really awesome. And to be able to come away from experiences with that lift. And that's what your community produces within each of those little components.
Thank you. All I can say is thank you. We strive and we hope. And that's our intention, is to build relationships and create spaces for people to feel safe, to share and connect and develop relationships that can grow in any way. We have zero expectations about what that looks like. And we just want to provide the space. So to know that you've experienced that and feel that, just really, it warms my heart, because that is the whole purpose of this community, is building the connections. And those events that we're talking about are completely free. You don't have to be a paid member to attend those events. So we do offer, like I said, I know the one membership for the wellness piece is under $10 a month, but you can still attend certain things for completely complimentary. So, you don't have to step in from that monetary piece unless you feel called to and you want to dig in even deeper. So, that's the great thing about community, is it doesn't always have to be about the money, right? Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, we can't do great things. We can't give away memberships if we don't have people buying memberships. Like, exactly. Philanthropy works because, monetary is not a bad thing. We just want to make sure that everybody has some type of level of opportunity wherever they're at. Mm-hmm. And, we're really proud of what we're doing, and that's okay too. It's taken me a while to be comfortable saying that, because you're like, oh, does it sound like I'm bragging? No, I'm not bragging. I'm really proud of what we've created.
Yes. Yeah.
And it has been a labor of love. It's absolutely, yeah, nothing doesn't come without having to, like you say, that hard work, that programming that we have. But I'm
Yes.
now experiencing more of the flow. And sometimes you got to dig in a little bit sometimes and do the things. But for everybody involved, it's absolutely 100% a labor of love. And the fact that you experienced that firsthand, and that's what you felt, just warms my heart. I can't even describe it.
Well, and as you're saying that, I'm still picturing myself back at pajamas, blanket, pillow. And I'm like, oh, that is sounding really great. And the other thing that I know too is that if you can't show up at the same time, the lovely thing about this work is the energy is always there. So even though you're not at the same time as everyone else, you pick the energy up of the event, and it doesn't matter if it's a different time. And even sometimes when I'm expressing myself on some of the courses I've done online or presentations, and I'll say, for those people who are currently here and for all those people who will be joining in later, and immediately that expands even what we're experiencing, knowing that all those people who find it later all of a sudden start to join in, and that energy just grows. So anyway, so in the back of my mind is my pajamas and my pillow, and I'm like, I'm so ready because I have blocked my day.
Great.
I'm ready.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And, it's going to be a really fun event. And that's the other thing. Health doesn't have to be boring. Health doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can just be one small step, like you said. If you take one tiny shift, find fun ways. Like, I literally look for the most enjoyable ways to exercise possible, because I am not somebody that likes to be, if you ask me to go for a run or go for a walk, I'm going to pick a walk. If you ask me to lift weights or to go for a paddleboard, I'm going to go for a paddleboard. Not that any of those things are bad, but what brings me joy is doing things. And so come and check out some of the stuff. We're going to be doing different things. And I invite those of, when people hear like inspired wellness and holistic, there are some stereotypes out there. People assume that it's, maybe not science-based, or there's no factuality behind some of the actual outcomes. Get curious. Come check it out. If it's not for you, that's okay. What we're asking for is for you to be open to see, could it change your life in a positive way? And if it could, are you willing to step in? Yep. We're not asking you to buy into crazy ideas and do those kind of things. Come and be curious. And you might be pleasantly surprised. You might find something that you never thought would be exciting, like Tai Chi. Do you know how many people on this planet know what the word is, but have never done it?
Yep. Yes.
Right.
and then they think it's something that seniors do. And you couldn't possibly get anything out of it because it's so slow. And
isn't that the magic?
Totally transformed my life. Yeah. And every day is a discovery of another way to move, which you think, how could that possibly be? And yet, as the body starts to open up and unwind, how everything just transforms. So it's not the same body as yesterday. And then you have a stressful situation happen. That's not the same body as yesterday. And so it's so organic. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So come and be curious. And I invite you to do the same thing when you come and check out Your Holistic Earth. Be curious, dabble around, check it out. You never know where your inspiration, relief, next phase, we never know where we're going to be. Open the door. If you don't like it, turn around. But step in, fear of the unknown holds so many of us back in so many areas of our lives. It's not worth not taking the risk. Like, take the risk. Worst can happen. You can change your mind. Remember, we talked about choice. The whole point is we want people to choose what works for them. If you experience it and you're like, this isn't for me, good for you for determining that, for discerning that, for figuring that out. We are not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. But what we want to do is inspire the idea to do it differently, to put your health, mind, body, and soul health, all of it, all of your being, into the palm of your hand so that you can choose your own pathway, whatever that is. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. Choice. We forget we have it.
We have choice. I know. And wellness is a choice. Yeah.
It is. It is.
So I like to always finish the podcast with something related to dance. Do you have anything dance-wise that you like to do that lifts your energy up or supports you?
Oh my goodness. My daughter probably would cringe right now. I love to crank the music and just dance like nobody's watching. I clean, I'm dancing. I'm in the pool. I'm always like moving. So no, do I have anything formal that I do? No, but I definitely give the neighbors a show on a regular basis. So if you've got something you want to do, I'm totally in.
Well, it's just so interesting because I think people forget to play, right? And even if they have music going, they might hum to it, but they might tap their toe and that might be it. And just how powerful it is to just let it go and just, crank the music, have a good time. And then at the end, smile at yourself, doesn't matter what you look like. Nobody cares. Just get out there and just really move and feel it.
Well, and it's so, and I know we're going to jump into this, but it's so interesting because I used to dance I was never a trained dancer or any of those kind of things, but I loved dancing. We'd always go dancing in probably 5 days a week. Like I loved dancing. And then I hit this adulting thing and I found I wasn't dancing as much. And what's so interesting, this is all about like health again and movement and choosing different ways. My body, like you said, as you start moving, it opens up. My body doesn't move the way it used to move. Mm-hmm. And that's because it's out of practice. And, it's like, I'm pretty sure my hips used to do something a little different than it's doing right now. And again, it's kind of like, okay, I need to move my hips more. I need to dance more. I need to put myself in, why not have a dance party instead of, going on your elliptical? Don't get me wrong. I go on my elliptical. I have one, but you can get just as good of a workout as shaking it in the kitchen or, cleaning, brushing your hair. I'm rambling now, but I agree with you. That's what I'm saying.
So I just thought I would share a tip before we finish. Just thinking back to the pajamas and the blanket and the pillow, is there's a lovely pattern in dance that calms the whole body down. This is great to do for children who maybe are a little bit tense or anxious, and we have a lot of those, right now. And you can tap while they're asleep, which is really cool. And you're just tapping 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. Very simple. And you could, I know the body wants to go, I got this.
1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Yeah. And so if it was calmly on a bed, just very gently next to a little one sleeping who maybe has had a lot of anxiety, but even on the body. So if the tension is kind of creeping up, if you just tap onto the leg, which is great on a Zoom call because you can put it underneath where nobody could see, and you can be 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, and you can just calm the whole system down. And then you can also put on a piece of music and just get into the rhythm, and, that allows you to just let go too. So I thought I'd share that piece.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be cha-cha-chaing all day. Literally, Yeah, I will be cha-cha-cha.
Jenny, thank you so much for sharing and for letting us into your world and for the lovely product that you have built and are going to continue to pass forward. I so appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thank you for inviting me and sharing this time and space and allowing me to share my passion. And thank you so much. It's always so fun to have a conversation with you, Michelle. You know I adore you.
And likewise, Jenny, and I'm so looking forward to what's coming up and the ways that we'll be able to work together. So it's lovely. So you've been listening to Be Well with Michelle Greenwell, and we're going to invite you to go cha-cha-cha, find a little bit of dance in your world. Thank you so much.